now let's leave that there, because in 2018 you say, we'll come back to that in a second, but in 2018 you say the media got involved. What's the story there?
Oh, well, the media love clickbait. So anything drama-based, like the tidal wave or anything, that gets the media excited. And they thought, well, we'll run with this story because it's sort of fear-mongering about nuclear power. They were able to bring up all their old footage of Chernobyl, and they got involved. And of course, the politicians are weak, and they started to bow to this pressure from the media. And they were joined up with these green groups, which started all these studies. And of course, the studies were rubbish, but the media ran them anyway. And that sort of accentuated public opinion about nuclear. And so it became popular to basically de-energise their grid.
So it's a kind of a snowball effect. You've got the original cynics about nuclear, then you've got the media, and then finally, I'm guessing, green politicians jumped aboard. Is that what happened?
Absolutely. So once the green politicians got on board, the politics of this started to change, and it became less about this false idea. I mean, don't forget, there's not going to be a tidal wave in the middle of Europe, okay? The threat from Japan, which is the most dangerous place in the world you could possibly build nuclear energy, wasn't going to be a problem for Germany. But it doesn't stop this fear-mongering. And so the politicians, they love a bit of drama, a bit of fear, and they thought, we can win elections on this. And that's how they got going. Okay,
so there's all this disruption and politicians are cashing in on it. But also at this time, renewable energy operators were rushing in to fill the gap. Is that what happened?
So there was also another step before that. So when the decommissioning started, these companies popped up and realised that you can actually make tens of millions of dollars decommissioning power plants, because you're not supposed to shut down nuclear power early. It's designed to live for 60 to 100 years and beyond that. So if you try and shut them down early, it's extremely expensive. And so these companies were joyous that they could run around closing dozens of plants for a fortune's worth of value. So they encouraged it. And then this market gap erupted where there wasn't enough energy. And so people started petitioning and lobbying politicians for these huge government contracts to build solar and wind. And so the countries that shut down their nuclear power plants are now the countries with these cumbersome projects like the North Sea project, where they're basically turning their beautiful assets into bird mincers and bug roasters. It's not a great idea.
But what happened to the operators who rushed in and picked up the old nuclear power plants for a bargain? What happened to them?
Well, here's the thing with politics. It takes a little while to get going. So although Italy moved pretty swiftly, which is strange for Italy, I know they're not known for it, but they moved quickly on this. But everybody else was dragging their feet. And so Germany in particular, they managed to buy these power plants for a diminished value, but they still had them. They were still active, and the shutdowns were only political. They weren't actually in the plant themselves. And so now they turned around and gone, oh, well, we really desperately need nuclear. It's become a green source of energy. It's been approved by the United Nations and by the European Union. And so they've changed their mind. And they are trying to refurbish these plants to get them going again. And so suddenly, those who acquired nuclear cheap are sitting on profitable assets that are being turned around and marketed as, surprise, surprise, green energy. And the companies who own solar and wind now own nuclear energy plants as well. So they own the whole system start to finish.